You're watching CNN. I'm Brooke Baldwin. Question: could one of the most lighthearted moments from last night's debate end up being Hillary Clinton's deadliest? During the closing moments, Anderson Cooper asked the candidates, who is the enemy you are most proud of making during your political career? Coal lobby, that was Lincoln Chafee's response. O'Malley, the NRA, Sanders, Wall Street, Jim Webb. He said, well, the guy killed on the battlefields of Vietnam. But this was Clinton's response.
In addition to the NRA, the health insurance companies, the drug companies, the Iranians, probably the Republicans.
I've got Sally Cohen with me, CNN political commentator and Daily Beast columnist, also Cheri Jacobus, Republican strategist. So, ladies, lovely to see both of you. Listen, I mean, you think of the crowd, and obviously that last line, Cheri, with, saying the Republicans were her enemy, got a huge, huge applause. But come general election time, will that comment come back to bite her?
It could hurt her. I mean, the electorate has a pretty short memory, of course, but this can be played on a loop.
Ads.
Yeah, this can be played on a loop. This country, we're about 50-50. So in the end, it's going to be the independents or people, maybe some Republicans who this time want to go a different direction. Maybe they like the fact that she's a woman. She kept repeating that last night. But she's going to need some Republican votes in order to win. And so lines like that don't help her. It sounds like it was something that was just sort of last minute off the cuff. Yeah, it was kind of off the cuff, but I'm guessing that she regrets it a little bit.
Go, Sally.
No. I mean, she was making the point that first of all, she was a fighter. It obviously does help her with the Democratic primary, but even Republicans and independent voters know what she means. They're talking about a Republican Party that is hell-bent not on substantive debates, not on issue debate, but on just destroying Hillary Clinton, on the umpteen billionth Benghazi hearing, on the umpteen billionth critique of her email servers. That's what they're talking about, and the American people are fed up with it, too.
No, I disagree. Hillary has a problem. She's her own worst enemy on the Benghazi situation, on the emails, and in lines like this. So what she needs to be doing, especially since she's really dropping with women, she lost a lot of women's support this summer, Hillary needs to be, basically trying to make as many friends as possible.
Let me just, wait. When the head of the Republican Party, one of the heads of the Republican Party admits that the millions of dollars is spent, the dozens, I believe almost a dozen committee hearings, thousands of pages of documents on Benghazi alone was all just to damage Hillary Clinton politically, the American people
there is an FBI investigation. It happens in a week. Listen, we're not going to go on Benghazi. We have a whole other segment on that. So let me pivot back to you.
We should talk about better things.
Let's talk socialism and the stigma. Listen, this was question number 2 out of the gate from Anderson toward Bernie Sanders. We knew it had to be asked. How would he explain what a socialist is to all the Americans who are watching, the 15 million Americans who were watching last night? Here was his response.
What democratic socialism is about is saying that it is immoral and wrong that the top 1/10 of 1% in this country own almost 90%, own almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. That when you look around the world, you see every other major country providing health care to all people as a right, except the United States. And I think we should look to countries like Denmark, like Sweden, and Norway, and learn from what they have accomplished for their working people.
Hillary Clinton's response, and I'm paraphrasing, essentially like, I love Denmark, but this isn't Denmark, this is the United States of America. My question is, if he were to get the nomination, should Republicans start measuring drapes in the Oval Office now?
Well, no, look, I mean, first of all, almost half of Americans have said they would consider voting for a socialist president, number one. Number two, his definition, right, is different than the sort of textbook definition, right? It doesn't mean state-owned this, state-owned that.
Do you think people got that?
It means, well, I don't know. That's why we have primaries and debates. But let's also be clear. What's more important is if you take the words out of it. When they did a poll of Americans and said, look, which kind of economic inequality do you favor? Do you favor the kind in the United States where, like, 1% of the country owns 84% of the wealth? Or do you favor something that looks more like this other diagram actually being Sweden in this case? 89% of Americans say we like the economic distribution of Sweden. Yeah. Now, are they going to say we like socialism? No, but they like the results of what he's talking about.
Bernie Sanders is one of your guys. He's a socialist. He's there so that it makes Hillary seem a little less socialist, makes the Democratic Party, he's got to make some people happy because you have socialists in your party. Then that's fine. It is. But now we all know it.
That is an inaccurate and cynical
He is
view.
there to make Hillary seem a little bit more palatable to moderate middle folks.
No, he's there because the American people are fed up with an economy that only works for the very few. And look, this isn't a left-right thing. People in your party are fed up with it too. This is about people being tired of a political system on both sides that favors the status quo, that favors big business, that favors Wall Street and hurts small business owners, working people, and average Americans.
What people want
That's what this is a conversation about.
What people want is the government to get out of the way so that they can make it on their own.
It's actually not
look, this
true.
redistribution.
Look at the polling data.
The redistribution of the wealth line that Obama was
I didn't know we were having a debate.
Well,
but working people do better when a Democrat's in the White House.
Can I coordinate in this?
The fact that we're talking about socialism as a Democratic Party after the Obama presidency, and the Secretary of State will probably be the nominee.
Hey, at least now the Republicans know what a real socialist is, as opposed to accusing Obama.
As a Republican, let's talk about it a lot in the Democratic
Quick turn
primary.
for me, Donald Trump. He was live tweeting during the entire debate. I don't know if it steered some people who maybe normally wouldn't watch to actually watch. But bottom line, I am curious, and I would love to hear both of you on this, as to whether or not love him, hate him or not, is he making people care? This early on, that 15 million people watched the Democrats last night. Do you think people are more engaged in politics because of this man?
No, I don't think. I think they're looking at him sort of the clown show situation. Donald Trump announced, with the help of all the media, hyped up the fact that he was going to be live tweeting throughout the night, and then all he did was retweet and had very few tweets of his own. I think he has trouble following the substance of the Democratic debate, just like on the Republican debate.
So we're agreeing on this.
And the Republican debate for CNN, he stood there for about 20 minutes, kind of looking around with nothing to say. So the big Twitter star last night was Mike Huckabee.
Can we talk about? I'm glad you went there.
Hang on. Interesting.
If you didn't know, if you weren't following along, this is a Huckabee tweet. It seems he may have, quote, "I trust Bernie Sanders with my tax dollars like I trust a North Korean chef with my Labrador," retweeted 7,600 times.
Hopefully 7,599 of those people were offended by it. Look, first of all, I think so many people turned out to the Democratic debate because they actually are interested in democracy and interested in a party that's going to solve the inequality and the wage stagnation that's hurting Americans, number one. Number two, I'm sorry, Mike Huckabee, when he said as president he wouldn't follow the Supreme Court, he would disobey the Supreme Court, if that didn't disqualify him enough, tweets like that, which are borderline xenophobic, borderline racist.
The left is covering him today. There's all this faux outrage of pretend hurt feelings.
Real outrage,
I would say that Mike Huckabee won Twitter last night. Good for him. We're all talking about it in the Washington Post. Salon Sally's all upset. Good for Mike Huckabee.
Cheri and Sally,
That's your
there you
standard.
go. The debate continues into this afternoon. Ladies, I appreciate it. Healthy
Thanks.
debate. We like that.
Yeah,
both sides.
Definitely
All right.
healthy.